अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः परमगुरुभ्यो नमः परात्परगुरुभ्यो नमः परमेष्ठिगुरुभ्यो नमः आत्मगुरुभ्यो नमः परमात्मगुरुभ्यो नमः। भगवत स्वरूप भाइयों और भगवती स्वरूप बहनों, आपको प्रणाम, सप्रेम नमस्कारम, and we again cordially invite and welcome your benign presence in this satsang, and I am grateful to the team who did a wonderful bhajan. It was great. Congratulations. And at the same time, I thank Yogacharya Himanshu Baba for having done a wonderful introduction so briefly and fully within a very limited time. He actually, maybe due to some reason or maybe lack of time or what, he curtailed that interaction in Mumbai in his one-room house, and it was wonderful. There was no bed. There was only some masina chatai or the plastic mat. There they made their bed and gave me their luxurious bed for me. And it was nice, thank you. And over the years, he has come up well in the path of devotion to music and service to God and Gurus. And he has also done a great helping in promotion of Kriya Yoga, the wonderful lifestyle to make a life which is more meaningful, happy, enjoyable, and free from sufferings. So before that, let us talk about some wonderful sayings of the spiritual texts. First, we must sing the glory of Gurus, by whose grace we are surviving till now in this turbulent world. Now, the passage I say, it is in honor of the Guru, meaning the Guru is in human form. At the same time, it is also, there is only one Guru, the Supreme, and Paramatma. And from there, if you listen carefully, you will have some idea about what God is like, and where He is and what He is. It's very few 4 lines, short. Om Paramabrahmanandam Paramashukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvatitam Gagansadrisam Tattvamasyaadilaksyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Shakkhibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Paramabrahmanandam, God, Bhagavan Paramatma, is the source of supreme joy. Paramashukadam, of supreme happiness. Supreme means endless happiness, endless joy in this life. Kevalam Jnanamurtim, God is the personification of spiritual enlightenment. Kevalam Jnanamurtim. Dandvatitam, God has no rival, God is one only. Gagansadrisam, He is as infinite as the sky, yet the infinite sky is within God. Dandvatitam Gagansadrisam Tattvamasyaadilaksyam. Great masters, saints and sages describe Him as Tattvamasi. Means He is the innermost self. He is the real, true, eternal identity. And that is Tat, that, Tvam, thou art. Ekam, understandable. Nityam, God was, God is, God will ever be. Nityam. Vimalam, God has no blemishes, God has no sins. Though the sins of all the sinners of the world, they go to Him, it never touches Him. They all get transformed into positive. Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrusam Tattamasyati Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam. God is still. At the same time, He is everywhere. Sarvadi Sakhi Bhutam. God is the witness of all. He is the witness of thoughts of all. He is not a judge. He doesn't punish anybody. He doesn't reward anybody. But if you offer your love to Him, He will bless you with realization of the truth about yourself, which is the panacea of all diseases and all sufferings. Sarvadi Sakhi Bhutam. Please remember, He is watching you all, each one of you. Remember, remind yourself every day, God is looking at you. Have you seen the picture of Lord Jagannath statue of Jagannath Puri? Have you seen? What you see? Huge eyes and no eyelids. God doesn't blink, so that nobody can complain that when the God is blinking, they are suffering. His protection is removed. It is not so. And it is 360 degrees vision everywhere at the same time. Sarvadi Sakhi Bhutam. So always please take heart. God knows you, each one of you, by your name and personal identity and all details. Be assured. And only He waits till you call Him. He will not force Himself on you. He waits till you call upon Him for help. Bhavatitam. He is beyond emotions. Please remember, emotionalism is not spirituality. Bhavatitam, beyond emotion. Triguna Rahitam. You cannot say God is Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic. He is beyond the three gunas. Triguna Rahitam, Bhavatitam, Triguna Rahitam, Sadguru. He is the Guru of all Gurus, and He teaches through the Gurus in human form. Because most people cannot understand Him. God is not a person. He doesn't speak any language. He speaks the language of the heart. And you need to be fit enough, evolve enough to understand God's talk, and that happens only during meditation. If you meditate deeply, then you can understand what God wants to tell you. And it happens. Most of the saints, they have it in their life. God is a personal guide. And first, as you practice spirituality, gradually you will feel, as you advance, gradually you will feel that Mother Nature is trying to teach you about yourself, about how you conduct yourself. Then a step little further, in self-realization, you understand Him thoroughly because you become Him. Now, to God. Which God we should pray for? There are gods, there are goddesses. In Hinduism, 33 millions of gods and goddesses. But please remember Bhagavad Gita, where God says, as rain comes down in torrents, water comes down the mountains, the jungles, the hills, everywhere, in different places all over the world, yet that water goes to the ocean only. Similarly, you worship any god and goddesses, it goes to Paramatma only. Be assured. So on this there shouldn't be any doubt or confusion. Then, during these days of so many stressful situations, before that, you all know it, let me remind, that the main purpose of life is to live. And to live happily, healthily, harmoniously, positively, actively, lovingly. Then only life becomes enjoyable. But the situation doesn't help that. We are living in an age of pollution. Water pollution, air pollution, food pollution, sound pollution, cultural pollution. At the same time, professional pollution, which forces stressful situations on most of these people. And they forget that their first requirement of a good performance is good health and fitness. But in the name of professionalism, they forget about the rules of fitness, which not only they are surrendering their present fitness and also their future, their post-retirement period, so life becomes no more joyful. That is where Kriya Yoga helps. So before that, we must know the truth, because if you know the truth, then only you can follow the truth about yourself also, you know, the truth about how to live in this turbulent world, so that you can avoid the stressogenic situations, and in spite of the stress and pollutions and so many responsibilities. Hinduism is a costly religion, socially also very costly. You all know it better. So there, first we must remember the truth. The truth is, you are not animal being. You are divine being. You are God. You are God-like. How? I'm quoting only yoga scriptures, Vedantas. Because as per Lord Krishna's teaching in the Bhagavad Gita, that each person is three in one. Each one of you is three personalities in one. One is the physical, the biological personality, which is constantly dying under the effect of time. That is the body, mind, intellect, and ego. These four are every moment dying. The other is Jivatma, Kutasto, eternal. And the third, or the main component, is the Supreme Being, Purushottama, who pervades these two from within and keeps them going, perpetuates the creation, perpetuates. Only theoretical information will not help. You need to realize it in the core of your heart. You must feel oneness. So, Bhagavad Gita is the great substance of the Vedic culture in Upanishad, the real, highest, eternal. So here, how to live in this practical world in spite of its complications and stressful situations, and yet live happily, and yet realize the truth in this life. Only realizing the truth about yourself, true identity, will make you happy, will remove all sufferings for all times to come. So here I quote two verses from one of the Upanishads. Om Ishavasyam Idam Sarbam Jatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha Magridha Kasya Siddhanam. The second verse is Kurvani Veha Karmani Jijivese Chatang Sama Evam Twai Nanyathe Toasti Na Karma Lipyate Nare. The first is very interesting, no? It mentions about the truth. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarbam. Isha means power of God. God. He is abiding everywhere. Everywhere. Now, what is the meaning of the word Idam? Idam Sarbam. Idam means in this world, in every being, in every plant, in every atom point, in every dust, in every grass. Then look up in the clouds, beyond the air, in the stars and planets, beyond stars and planets, in the infinity, in the desert, in the underground, within the earth, around the earth, in the whole cosmos. He is pervading. Idam. All these. He is present. He is within you, he is around you. He is above, below, everywhere. However insignificant something may be, God is present. There is no time, no place where God is not present. Jatkincha Jagatyam Jagat, however insignificant something may be, God is there. Tena Tektena Bhunditha Magruta Kastu Siddharam. Remembering this truth that you are enjoying God's property, God's work. And you will not have any greed or any wrong idea that you are robbing somebody, you are taking somebody else's wealth, or you are doing something wrong. Everything belongs to God, and we are enjoying His. So there should not be any temptation or greed for any other thing which we crave unlawfully. Then if that is so, how to live, how to conduct oneself in the world? The second verse is, Kurvane veya karmani jijivise chatang sama. Means you should expect to live full 100 years of life. How? Performing activities, performing all duties, constantly. Every moment of that 100 years should be filled with positive actions in thought, in speech, and in physical activities. With the intention, with your wisdom based on the first verse, that you are living in God, you are enjoying the wealth of God, and the very life belongs to God. Evam tu inannete tu asti na karma lipate nare. Except this, there is no alternative for anybody in this world to go beyond the stressful situation caused by relativity and ignorance of the inner self. There is no other way. Means there is no other way except remembering the Lord with gratefulness and keep busy. Keep busy in every aspect. Remembering the Lord, you are serving Him. So the essence of Kriya Yoga is keep busy, physically, mentally, verbally, spiritually, materially. Whatever your profession is, but say that it is service to God. Probably your problem is solved. And you cannot, though you theoretically know it, you cannot realize it because the mind is extremely restless. There is only one villain in the whole thing, is the restlessness of the mind. Mind is like a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. It propels you towards materialism and wrongful things. It also can propel you towards spiritual thing and liberation and happiness. Choice is yours. Mind is of two types. Monoeva dvivida prokta shuddha ashuddha mevaja. Ashuddha kama sankalpa, shuddha kama viparjita. Means mind is of two types. When it is filled with materialistic ideas, forgetting its spiritual identity, then it is impure. The moment it remembers its spiritual identity, it is pure and then becomes calm. Calmness is godliness. So, as a mirror cannot reflect whatever object, if it is covered with dust, similarly, until and unless the restlessness of the mind is removed, it cannot feel the presence of the all-pervading immortal self. Within this mortal frame of the body, which is subjected to disease, decay and death, lives, resides the immortal all-pervading self, and that is truth. And to be happy, you need to realize it. Lord Krishna's life you follow, he never left. He never advised anybody to leave the world. One of our Adi Guru's Parampara, Lahiri Mahasa, when somebody impressed with the spiritual life goes and tells him, Gurudev, please permit me to become a Swami, to become a monk, sannyasi. He will say, a little sarcastically, do you think by wearing geruas you'll impress all and have an easy earning? Or you feel the bhara of jata is too much to impress? Don't. Go enter into family life. And our lineage is Krishna, Babaji, Lahiri Mahasa, Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda, Narayana Swami, Satyananda Swami, and so on. You know, little information about Lahiri Mahasa, how he gave tremendous importance to family life, the grihasthis. Babaji called him to the mountains, a cave where he was camping with his close disciples. And when he went, he was already at that time married. And he was working in a semi-military farm as an assistant. So when he went there, he kept him for about 10 days or so, or maybe 2 weeks, and taught him the techniques of Kriya Yoga. At the end, he asked him to go back to his job and to his family and to spread the message to the suffering humanity. So Lahiri Mahasaya has become disillusioned with the world, and he is the disciple of his prior births also. So he refused to go. He says, please forgive me, allow me to stay with you, and I must meditate here and serve you. He says, no. A lot of family people are suffering. They want liberation. They want to escape from the disease, decay, and death complex of uncontrolled materialistic life. In this life, you go back there, carry our mission, and teach everybody Kriya Yoga. So now what is Kriya Yoga? Kriya Yoga is a combination of all major types of yoga, like Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. It's a balanced combination. And Babaji actually is the incarnation of Lord Krishna in Kali Yuga, because Lord Krishna gave the principles, the theories, and knowledge part of this practical spirituality through the Bhagavad Gita. But until unless you practice meditation and spirituality, you will not be able to understand in an applied sense the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So you need to practice the technique. So he appeared as Babaji to give the techniques. And through Lahiri Mahasaya, he gave the technique. And it is Lahiri Mahasaya who spread the message. And it is his disciple till today in different branches, in different names and organizations, it is being spread. So the main source is through Babaji and Lahiri Mahasaya. Our lineage is from Lahiri Mahasaya to Swami Sri Yukteswar, Jagannath, who is the autobiography of a yogi fame, and then Swami Satyananda Giri, Swami Narayana Giri, and so on. And this is combination. This is a must. This yoga practice is a must, because you need fitness. Without fitness, what work can you do? And you must achieve the highest. You must expect the promotions. You must expect the bonus. At the same time, you do not fall victim to the stressful situation which is caused in your process of achieving your goals. If you remember, Krishna taught this wonderful yoga to Arjuna, then to Uddhava, to Akrura, and to Radha. People say Radha was Krishna's girlfriend. It is not so. It is Radha, one of the foremost person who recognized Krishna as the incarnation of God, Paramatma himself. So that is some truth about it. Then he reappeared in Kali Yuga as Babaji to spread the message. And it doesn't take away any charm of your lifestyle in a modern world. You live your life. You have your duty to yourself. You have a duty to your family, to your wife, to your children, to your husband, to your brothers, to your sisters, to your friends, relatives, well-wishers. Then you have responsibility to your job. You have ambitions. It's not bad. You must, but the approach is different. Approach is everything belongs to him, and you are performing all activities as service to him. So Kriya Yoga has two aspects. One, work is worship, literally. No work is small, no work is too big. Any work, suppose you are having a shower, tell yourself it is service to God. This body is not yours. It belongs to the soul, and the soul is part of the Supreme Soul. You are buttoning up your clothes, service to him. You are sitting down to food, service to him. There is a system in most of the Hindu peoples, particularly senior citizens, when they are offered, the food is kept in front of them, they do a chalu mantra with some water, different mantra. That is Yajna itself. What is Yajna? Whatever you are enjoying, you first offer it to the makers, the gods. Muslims do it as halal. First they offer to God. Similarly, Hindus do it in many styles. You should do it. Krishna says, if you enjoy anything, everything belongs to God. If you are enjoying anything without offering to God, then it is equivalent to theft. Clearly it is written in the Bhagavad Gita. So any action you do is offering. Make it an offering. Make it a yajna. Through yajna comes rain. Through rain comes grain, food grains. Through fruit grains, creation is coming. And all other things. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha हो गया. So इसीलिए you have to remember God and your oneness with Him. And through all activities. Many people think that only you need to have special clothes and paint yourself with different pigments and then go to the temple and do some mantra. That is part of expression, but really follow the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is such a practical guide of lifestyle which makes you stress-free. There is no other book. No superstition. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is no superstition. Straightforward. Otherwise, if you take the traditional religious thing, there are so many superstitions. And you become confused about religion and spirituality. But he says, perform all activities as service to me, you become one with me. Nimitta matram bhava sabhyasati. Arjuna, be my representative. Everything has been achieved. So now, what we do in Kriya, this is the philosophical part. Work is worship. Be a good worker with all ambitions. Yet perform all activities as service to God. And consider, remind yourself that all activities you are doing for personal profit or whatever is service to God. Half the battle you own. Then, to be able to meditate, you cannot meditate if your mind is restless. So to make the mind free from restlessness is all the religious activities give you. You go to the temple for that, all rituals, temples, Pancha Upachar, Sodas Upachar, Dwadasa Upachar, Chausati, Battis Upachar, and all this. They indirectly keep the mind calm. But here we are offering through Kriya Yoga, directly control the mind. How? Control the guru of the mind. Guru of the mind. Who is the guru of the mind? By whose grace mind is existing. First you have to control our senses. Indriyana manonatha. Manonathas to maruta. Maruthas to layanathas. So layanathamasrita. Means to control the senses, you use your willpower and mind. So that control your senses not to do negative things and do positive things, which most people know. Then who is the master of the mind? Indriyana manonatha, manonathas to maruta. The master or king of the mind is the breathing air, breathing. If there is no breathing, there is no mind. Then that's why pranayam is a must. But there are many types of pranayam. Which pranayam you will do? And some of them are really not so helpful, but they can have the damage. Kriya Yoga pranayam is the best. Reishakam purakam tektva jasukhat vayudharam. There is no inhalation, no exhalation, and there is kevali kumbha, balance, and you could do meditation. So there are three types of kumbhaks in the pranayam. One is antar kumbhak. I'll show you. Antarkumbha. But you cannot hold more than half a minute if you practice. But science says to keep more than half a minute is dangerous for your health. And I have seen people doing pranayam and holding the breath for 4 minutes and ending up with lung disease, emphysema lungs, chronic pulmonary, heart failure, finished. So it is not suitable for meditation. For meditation you need nirantar sadhana, dirgha kala sadhana. Then there is bahir kumbha. Keep the air outside. It is more uncomfortable and it is also harmful. It can raise the blood pressure. So the best is neither you are inhaling nor you are exhaling, and that is helps in Kriya Yoga. You inhale, you don't hold, exhale. We combine thought and breathing. Inhale, then exhale. As you do it for a few minutes, a stage will come, you will not feel like breathing. Go to meditation. And this stage is called Kevali Kumbha. Safe for long hours of meditation. Kriya Yoga practice, that's why we say Kriya Pranayam. We don't talk about other types of pranayam, there are many other types. But many of them are not scientific. Only Kriya. Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, Rejakum Puragam Tyakta Jaskata Ayodharma. There is neither inhalation nor exhalation. You don't die because the body gets adjusted. At the same time, when this is there, that is dead space air in the trachea and bronchi, that carries on. So when you are breathing, you see the air what you are breathing now fresh, it doesn't go to the lungs direct. It goes and there is a dead space here in the larynx, pharynx, and there is bronchi, bronchioles, stage in between, dead space. So this fresh air goes and pushes that in. That goes into the lungs because that is warmed up into the body temperature and the dust and particles are filtered. So that, and then fresh air becomes a dead space air. So by practice, some oxygen also goes into simple solution in the plasma. So the body lives from that. And please remember, samadhi is of two types. Savikalpa when you are aware of doing doership, and nirvikalpa when you are not aware of anything, where breathing may also stop. You don't die. That's why God grants samadhi. As long as your body and mind is not ready, you will not get samadhi. So you keep on trying. So, Kriya Yoga is a must, please remember. I don't hesitate to tell it after so many years of practice and seeing the situations. And Kriya Yoga is simultaneous benefit. You need physical benefit, you need physical strength, vitality, stamina. You need mental peace and calmness and intelligence and intellectual brilliance you need. Medha Shakti, Dhi Shakti. At the same time, you feel you have to have calmness under all circumstances. And at the same time, you need to attend your work. Instead of 8 hours daily, now it has gone up to, you never know, there is no limit. Computer days and all this, it may be 10 hours, it may be 12 hours. And the agreement, the employer's agreement is always misleading and nobody sticks to it too much. So, what to do? Do that, do this also. That's why Kriya Yoga, you are constantly, evening you are doing overwork, you are serving God. Remind yourself. You see, this is a relative world. It changes value system. For example, in olden days, in the time of your grandparents, fixed time, 9 o'clock office, 5 o'clock back home. Dinner, lunch, enjoy with the family, have a nice sleep. Now those things are gone. But suppose at that time, it would have been drilled into your mind that working hour is 10 hours. So nowadays you will not complain. Happily you will do it. So that's why don't take too much these restriction or overwork. Don't tell that this is part of the game. The moment your mind adjusts and accommodates it, you are happy, no stress. So please remember, avoid stress. Don't allow stress to overcome you. Because whatever money you earn for a happy old age, the old age, the medical bill will take away the whole thing. And you cannot enjoy life. So life is to be enjoyed. Enjoy. Till after retirement also, no problem. The human life quota is 120 years. In Dwapara, most of these people, they lived up to 120 years. Krishna left body, all Pandavas left body after 120 years. Later on, it became less and less. Then in British India, it was much less. When the British left India, it was 26 years, Indian longevity. Can you imagine? Then after the freedom, it gradually improved, and now it is, what is the longevity? Now it is 70 years. And it will still improve. If you can avoid that stress, do Kriya Yoga twice daily. But to learn, now about simultaneous is, how many hours is there in one day and night? 24 hours, okay. 24 hours, out of 24 hours, you are 10 hours at work. So how many hours left? 14 hours. And how much time you take from home to reach workplace? 1 hour? Okay, 15 hours. How many time you take to come back? That is understatement. Because sometimes there is traffic jams which is not under control. So how many hours now? 16 hours. Out of 16 hours, you should sleep 7 hours. How many left? 9 hours? Out of 9 hours, you do shopping. How many hours? Remember the traffic jams. Shopping how many hours? 2 hours? Not every day. Average? 1 hour. So out of 9, 8 hours remaining. Out of that, you need to watch the TV. How many hours a day? 2 hours? How many hours left? 6 hours. Out of 6 hours, you need to attend to your children's education, their sports class, music class, take them to tuition, cultural show. How many hours? 4 hours. 4 hours, yet that 4 hours, India is famous, Hindu culture is famous for marriage ceremonies. You need to go to wedding, and you have not, the time is not under your control. You spend maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So where is time to do spiritual practice? So you need such a technique that the same technique will give you simultaneous benefit. Physical benefit, mental benefit, intellectual benefit, and spiritual benefit. And that is Kriya Yoga. All techniques, and it is very easy. It is not too difficult. It is not intricate. So that's why we say Kriya Yoga. Everybody should practice. Lord Krishna was practicing, our Adiguru. All the Pandavas were practicing 3 times a day. Sunrise time, sunset, and pre-lunch time, noon. But most people did twice daily. And please remember, life was not too comfortable, not much safer than what life is now. Now there is stability in the society, there is police department, there is some sort of security. Now if you see the photos of all gods and goddesses, every gods and goddess, they take a weapon, their own. Lord Vishnu, 4 arms, so much weapons he carries. Lord Shiva similarly, Brahma similarly, all gods and goddesses. Means, read between the lines. Life was more unsecure those days, in Ramayana time, in Dwapara time. So still people had no stress. There is no diabetes. There is no report of hypertension. They are all stress related. Colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, hypertension, hypothyroidism, in this strokes, brain stroke, heart stroke. They are engulfing the young generation, the prime of productivity. Depression, anxiety, suicide. The worst trouble is suicide when the inbuilt mechanism within the system is self-preservation. The whole brain is designed for self-preservation. Now what happens that self-preservation is eliminated? There is severe depression. Avoid it. Enjoy life. Life is to be enjoyed, but in the right way.